What's up, everybody? What's up? It's your man Uncanny, and you are now tuned in to another exciting episode of the Connectz Radio Show. I'm so honored and blessed to have y'all here this week. As you know, every episode is powered by bettersblock.com, getyourBuzzUp.com, MidwestMixtapes.com, the Fleet DJs, the Nerve DJs, and of course, the Midwest Connectz. I just want to make sure I introduce the show proper, man. So, we got another very, very special guest. We have what I like to call a working artist here with us tonight. He's not the biggest name in the industry, but he found his niche and he found a way to get paid with his creativity and doing what he loves to do. He goes by Shy Songwriter, Peoria native, right here on our show.
What
Shy,
up? What
what's
up?
going
What
on?
up? I'm good, gang. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
I'm alive and I'm blessed, bro. That's all you can be.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. There's been a lot going on. The pandemic caused some transitions. You were a touring artist before then. Talk to us about how you remain relevant and get money after the pandemic.
Man, yeah, that pandemic was serious. I kind of like sat back and didn't really know what to do. And I was just kind of sitting there and I was just thinking about my talents. I'm like, man, I'm sleeping on myself. You feel me? So I'm like, all right, let me figure out how to go about some things. And I guess since I kind of put it out in fruition, I mean, one of my boys hit me up and was like, college friend, he was like, yo, could you do a song for me for my business? And I was like, for sure, and I ended up doing it, and he ended up paying me for it. And then that's like we got to talking and was like, man, this is like you could do a lot of these. And I was like, man, I slept on this. Like, so that was just kind of one of the ventures I ended up popping into. Just from kind of like I was already thinking about it and wanting to see what I need to do. I started building my website. It was just such a random, like, the pandemic was so random. So it was just kind of like I just went in. You know what I mean? It was just like I knew I needed to do something.
So not to cut you off, but you went the Jamie Foxx route from the show. You was jingle writing.
Yeah, in a route, in a way, that's like one of the routes. I also had a clothing brand, which is I'm wearing it right now. I Love Myself Clothing.
Right.
I had created this clothing brand, and it was really just merch. Like maybe like 6 years ago or so, with one of my EPs, and it was just selling as merch. And I was like, oh, that's another way I could make money. So I started building a site for that. I was like, whatever, started selling online, and that just kind of like hit. People was buying, you know what I mean? So I created another stream of revenue right there, you know what I mean? So I kind of just started thinking about all the talents I had and the things that people asked me for, and started monetizing them.
No doubt. Another one that I saw you posting about was you were doing some voiceover acting work. How did you kind of fall into that?
Yeah, that kind of played in the route of, so I started getting into acting too, right? So
Okay.
um when I got into acting, I was thinking about, I already had this mindset I wanted to get my music into TV and film. So and this kind of came before the pandemic, so I already was thinking about all this stuff. But the pandemic kind of forced me to do it all. You see what I'm saying? Um, so it made me put all my plans in action a little bit quicker, because you kind of feel that sense of urgency, like I need it, I got to get it now, type thing.
Right.
And so I started getting into that lane of just regular, just like on-screen acting, and then the combination of looking for jobs and gigs. I saw some voice acting gigs, so I reached out to some people and was like, hey, like I make music already. This is what I sound like. This is kind of like my talking voice, things of that nature. And then also I was doing it for some of the jingles, like with the commercials that we do the jingles and the commercials. So on the commercials, I would do some of the voice acting too, like some of the just like voiceovers and stuff. So um, kind of just went and just did it, to be honest. Like there's no
Right.
like, I don't know, there's a formula, but there's no formula. I kind of just like knew what I wanted to do and was like, I'm not gonna go do it.
Okay. And that's pretty much kind of how everybody gets started. What now? Was there a website? Was there agent? How did you kind of get? Like the last interview we did, we talked to Skittles about how she kind of broke into sync licensing. She has some huge songs licensed. Now, how did the voice acting, the commercials, the jingles? How do you get those placed? How do you find the Midwest, especially, kind of Central Illinois, you're a Peoria native. It isn't really a hotbed for things like that, for creative ventures to pay. How did you kind of find those?
Well, I was living in I moved to Chicago, so I was living in Chicago, so that kind of helped
Okay.
with finding it a little bit easier, just because there is a network there, um, and it's kind of one of those things where I just kind of searched online. I just Google stuff. Like, I mean, the internet is your best friend right now, right? And so that's kind of how I started finding little jobs on Facebook, stuff like that. But as far as like my jingles and stuff, someone reached out to me first, and then we started
Okay.
reaching out to businesses. So
Makes
we
sense.
just kind of, a lot of stuff is just, you just go and do it. There's no like, I don't have an agent or anything, so I just kind of got to go and reach out to people and say, here's what I do, here's my resume, this is what I got going on, and you know what I mean. And I also get a lot of people, especially at this point in my career, a lot of people reaching out to me just because they see me post and they see some
Right.
of the work.
One thing.
So it's a combination. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's another thing I was going to bring up was you said you don't have an agent. Do you have a tour manager? Because that's another thing. You are always on the road. You're a little bit of everywhere. Definitely regionally, state to state. If you don't have an agent or a road manager, kind of walk us through how you build such big tours with big artists.
So I do have a manager. We kind
Okay.
of partner. We partner on a lot of things. But as far as like booking and things of that nature, I'm just very proactive. So I kind of just go and get it, whether he's ready or he's not. I kind of just go and get it. Like, it's just, I'm just that type of person, right? Um, and I had did some shows, ended up getting reached out. Like, I've done a lot of shows, so I've built a lot of network with people. So people will hit me up, and I believe, I believe in my stage presence and believe in what I do, and people have said the same thing. Not to be like I'm that guy, but people like what I do when I get on stage. So uh, a lot of people do reach out to me. You know what I mean? And
For
kind of
sure.
just hit me up. So what I did was kind of utilize the network that I have to build the tours. Um, and with the most recent tour, I was actually the tour manager. So I was
Okay.
not only the tour manager, but I was performing as well. So I was kind of, you know what I mean? So I like to wear hats. I like to wear several
Yeah,
hats. It's
yeah, I
just
was
my
I was
vibe.
gonna say that you wear a lot of hats in the industry, but one thing about it is they all if there's money to be made, you got to make it as an entertainer. You have to find ways to bring revenue in. Um,
Right.
because I mean, and I'm just asking, do you work at like a daytime or full time, or are you a full time creative?
I'm a full-time creative. I either do this or I do brand ambassador work. So I work with other brands and kind of help push their brand too. So,
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's another great way to make some money, especially if you have a network to do so. Um,
mhm.
kind of talk to us about you're an independent artist. You're building your resume and you're building your brand personally. Talk to us about what artists can do outside of being proactive. I mean, that's the number one thing that is the number one reoccurring theme is if everything you want, you just go get. Is that kind of how you would lay it out to artists or independent labels? Is just get out and go get it?
Yeah, and you also have to be professional about it too. You don't want to just be annoying. You got to kind of figure out a way to be professional, um, and don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to like try to talk to people and put yourself out there. But one, be professional, and two, offer them something. I would almost say offer them something first. You know what I mean? It's not always like, hey, I'm talented. I'm gonna make you guys better. Like,
Right.
you got to find other ways. You know what I mean? And I
It's
think that
actually
that's
one
a
of the
big
48 laws of power.
see. And I've skimmed it, but I
Yeah.
need to like get back in there and really dig deeper into that 48 laws of power for real. But
Yeah,
I think
I just
that's
I was
something.
listening to the audiobook, so it was just fresh on my mind. But when you said it, that's exact. You have to add value, especially in business relationships or partnerships, or if you're just meeting people, you have to add value to what they do, so then
Yeah.
they can understand that you have value to yourself. So, no, absolutely. Uh, and being a full-time creative, traveling all the time, how do you maintain that kind of scheduling? Because I mean, I work full-time. I dabble in the entertainment world. I DJ things like that, live events, stuff like that. But it's like I have not found my niche yet, and I'm not able to be a full-time creative. Kind of like that. How are you able to manage that scheduling? Because there is no like you said, there's no formula. It's like every day is something a little different, but you have to be progressing. So how do you kind of manage the scheduling of that?
Uh, it's. I mean, I guess I'm decent at scheduling. I just kind of really pay attention to what I'm booking and try to keep like. I mean, I use Google calendars to kind of keep myself up to date on what I got going on, things of that nature. As soon as I book something, I just put it on there. Like I don't hesitate to think about, because if I don't put it on there right then and there, I've double booked myself. Don't get me wrong, I've done it recently. Just like in the last week, I double booked myself. But it's a positive thing to be able to be double booked. But honestly, I think that my superpower of ADHD is what gives me that ability, because I don't. It's kind of like I'm either gonna stick to something and go really hard on it for a little bit, or I gotta have a lot of things to kind of keep my brain going. So I
Believe me,
think
I know that one.
yeah. So I think that helps me a lot, and everything still is in my wheelhouse of things I love to do. So I have a couple clothing brands. I like clothes. I like fashion and things of that nature, but I'm also into I like putting together shows, so I have a brand for that. I like helping other artists and consulting artists, so I have a brand for that.
Okay.
Of course, I have my own music. I have a songwriting like a songwriting specifically for producing and songwriting for artists. I have a brand with that with my boy S. Samuels, which is also my manager and a producer for me too.
Nice. Okay.
So I just kind of, the things that we create, like I'm creating, are things that I like to do. So that way it's like, if this isn't working right now, this will work over here. If this isn't working right now, this will work over here. But at the end of the day, I'm still enjoying what I'm doing.
Right. Okay. And that was, you kind of got me to the next question, was going to be, fashion seems to be at the forefront. Has that always been that way for you? Like, was you a fly little guy too, or was it something that, hey, I'm an artist, I'm a creative, let me kind of go this route as well?
I think that I ain't gonna say I was like, yeah, I mean, I was just like, I almost want to say I was basic when I was in like high school and stuff, because I basically, whatever everybody else was wearing, that's what I was trying to wear. If I got to get the Jordans, and everybody was wearing the big clothes and things like that, I was just wearing what everybody else was wearing. So I didn't really have my own style, or so I feel like fashion is about having your own style. So now it's more like, I don't think about the brand names or anything of that nature. I just think about, I like that, I'm gonna wear it, and I just move on. You know what I mean? So I think that ends up giving me more to the fashion side, because I'm just being myself. You know what I mean? I don't think people be mixing designer and think that's the vibe, and it's like, that's not really necessarily like fashion, because if you're just trying to copy off what everybody else doing, you know what I mean?
For sure.
But that's just
For
my
sure.
mentality on it.
Okay. Yeah, fashion is definitely an outward expression of your inward self. That's kind of how, whatever you wear represents you. That's how people see you. That's how. So it only makes sense. Um Now talk to me about the music. You had a recent release. We're actually going to play some of the music here. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I just dropped an EP with S. Samuels called Mosh Pit Music, and it's definitely some heavy, like, it's some heavy shit. You feel me? There's definitely some vibes where, for me, it was a good way to release a lot of like anger. Um, like I'm not an angry person at all. Like, I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky person, but things do still make me mad. I'm human, right? And when I was younger, I had a lot of anger issues. Like, you couldn't say anything to me, I was ready to fight you, like that type of guy. Um, so I got out of that as an adult and as I've gotten older. But at the end of the day, it was just a good positive release on a project. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what this whole project is, mosh pit music. So when it's played live, that's what it's trying to induce, is those mosh pits. You know what I mean?
Those mosh pits started. Okay, so introduce the single, because we are going to spin it. You sent me the link pre-show. Go ahead and introduce the single. We're going to go ahead and play it right here on the Connectz Radio Show.
Okay. You about to listen to the boy Shy Songwriter and S. Samuels. Swerve. Let's get it.
Bitch, swerve, cause you already getting talking, I don't listen, you not heard. If you try me, you gon' get what you deserve. That's my word. Big swerve. Can you please get the fuck out my face? Hit some gun, cuz little bitch, your breath stink. You ain't on my level, you is not my range. If you try me, you gon' feel it from this tank. No, I don't wanna rap with you. No, I don't wanna freestyle. Keep talking, this gon' get wild. Wet you up like deep now. Are you dumb or are you see now? I won't get caught, there's no free trial. You won't search you in deep cloud. I promise you, I won't be around. Rich swerve, cause you already getting on my nerves. You be talking, I don't listen, you not heard. If you try me, you gon' get what you deserve. That's my word. Bitch swerve, cause you already getting on my nerves. You be talking, I don't listen, you not heard. If you try me, you gon' get what you deserve. That's my word. Bitch swerve.
Yes, sir.
That's nice right there. That's nice.
I appreciate it.
So then, does the rest of the EP follow a similar soundscape, or is that kind of the single differs? Or
It kind of it's kind of a mixture of that. Like, so it has a lot of some rock influence, and there's just kind of like that's the vibe of me more kind of going through the process of like things that annoy me. Just also seeing my growth, and then there's just like one random song that's just about like kind of something that helps release some of that pressure. You know what I mean? So that was a wild one, but yeah. So that's kind of like the vibes.
okay. So talk to me, man. Shy Songwriter is a very unique name. It kind of puts you out there on Front Street because if you can't write songs, why would you? How'd you get that name? Where'd it come from?
Man, it's funny because I used to just go by Shy. Um, then I went by like CHI. But at the end of the day, I'm also like I went to school for marketing and stuff like that. So um, there was two things that happened, and they kind of happened simultaneously. Like on Facebook, I had my name as like Shy Songs, like Shy's Songs, right? So it's kind of like this is where you could go listen to my song. I wasn't really thinking about it when I put it there. I just did it. And then on Twitter, I put Shy, but I couldn't. It couldn't like be a thing, right? So I just put Shy Songwriter. Wasn't thinking nothing about it. Um, but then everyone started calling me Shy Songs when they would see me, like people who never met me. That's what they would call me. And so I was like, oh dang, I didn't even think about that. And this is like when I'm like young, so I'm not really thinking about like that side of it, but I'm starting to learn more. And I was like, well, Shy Songs, that feels too much like Trey. So I already named myself Shy Songwriter on Twitter, so let me just go with that. And I was like, you won't see nobody else with my name, like, so it kind of fit. And I was like, let's just go with that. And I like to write songs, so I was like, why not? And I write poetry too, so I'm a writer. So that was kind of like what it was, and so now everything's it's just Shy Songwriter on everything.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and that's actually dope because, like you said, it's very unique. Anytime you Google it, you are the first and only thing to pop up at that name. So it marketing 101 right there. You did a great job. Search engine optimization.
Oh God.
No, I don't want to leave it there. What I do want to get into is kind of what is it that you want to leave the fans, or what do you want the fans to get from your creativity, from your art, from what you're offering the world? How do you want the fans to connect to
It's okay to be you. I mean, I think that's you don't have to go with the route that everyone tells you have to go with. And I think I'm living proof of that. People won't understand my journey, but it's the journey that I'm taking. I get a lot of, man, you're gonna make it one day, man. I get that a lot, and I kind of sit back and it's bittersweet because you're like, hey, they believe in me, but then they also aren't seeing what I actually do. Because I'm in a position that 80-90% of most artists aren't in. So in my mind, I made it. I'm in a very blessed spot, but you know what I mean? So I have to just take it with a grain of salt and appreciate that they even recognize that I'm an artist and that I'm doing what I do. So be you and don't be afraid to take your own journey.
that? Okay, that's dope. And I'm a segue because you just spoke on something that people don't understand. is success is kind of what you make it. So it's if you feel successful in having your creativity and your art pay your bills and allow you to live the lifestyle that you choose, sir, you are super successful. You feel what I'm saying? Um,
Nah,
people just there is people want to base everything on what they see, the glitz, the glamour, the multimillionaire lifestyle. But like you said, you're in a position that 90% of artists dream of being a
right.
full-time creative and traveling and meeting people and being able to bring in revenue from what it is you like to do. So I commend you. Definitely like what you're putting out. You've always been a great vibe, even in the social media interactions we've had. So I just want to let you know that we appreciate you and we definitely appreciate you on the show. You are connected and respected, my man, Shy Songwriter. Last thing I'm gonna ask you though is if you in Peoria, because I don't know if you home a whole lot, but if you in Peoria, what strip club do I need to go to in Peoria?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't really do strip clubs like that, but I'd probably say, I mean, I guess Big Al's for real, but I don't really be in strip clubs like that. I ain't there yet, boss.
That's the most
I ain't
fucking
got
spot.
I ain't got the money like that. Nah, but yeah, I would
I
say
hear
Big
you.
Al's though. And I appreciate you for having me out.
Okay. All right. Nah, no doubt, man. Tell the fans where to find you at.
Shy Songwriter on all streaming platforms, on all social media, CHI Songwriter, no space. You can get the music, you can get the clothing, you can go to my website. Everything is all the same, so you'll find me.
Y'all heard it here, man. Connectz Radio Show. That was your man, Shy Songwriter, tapping in with us here. Again, we appreciate you, brother, for stopping into the show. And that's what we do here on the Connectz Radio Show is we spin y'all the hottest and unsigned and independent hip hop and R&B, as well as bring you the interviews with the brightest stars in the culture. Man, y'all know what it is. It's your man Uncanny. You can catch me next week, same time, same few places, and you can catch the playback from this episode everywhere. I mean, everywhere you catch your favorite podcast, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. You know what I'm Podbean. I mean, we out here. Y'all know what it is. Connectz Radio Show. Midwest Connectz. If you ain't connected, you ain't respected. And I just wanted to show the little throwback here, man. Petty cash on the drip, man. Y'all know what it is. Catch y'all next time.